tonight's call. Renee and myself are here tonight really to share some details around a tremendous opportunity with all of you. And really the question that we want to kick off with tonight is, and ask all of yourselves, is really, why are you here tonight? We have folks on the call from all over the Americas, Asia Pacific. It's their Wednesday morning. It's our Tuesday night. We're in the middle of the holiday season. It's a very busy time for all of us. And really the question is, what's driving you to attend this call? And I have a feeling deep down, you sense this tremendous opportunity that's before you. And that's really what we want to share tonight with you. Renee and myself both believe in this opportunity, and we're here to share it with you. And there's a couple things to kick off with, a couple expressions that are favorites of mine. One of them is, luck is where opportunity meets preparation. And really the key for that is when the opportunity presents itself, are you going to be prepared and ready to make the most of that opportunity? Now, some people will say you were lucky. 6 months from now, some folks are going to say, oh, you were lucky. You got in on this opportunity at an opportune time, when in fact, really, you were prepared for it. You were very intentional, and you decided really to make 2015 your year, that things would not continue with business as usual, and you're going to make the most of this for you. Another expression that's a favorite of mine is, in this world, there's three types of people. There are those who watch it happen, there are those who wonder what happened, and there are those who make it happen. And believe me, I have every bit of confidence that everybody on this call is fully capable of making it happen and making 2015 really be the year that you set yourself on a new path and on this journey that many of us have embarked on towards not only nutritional health and having more energy and a quality of life, but also there's a definite business aspect to this as well, and that's really what we want to share with you. So Renee and I, once again, would like to welcome all of you to the call. So before we get in, though, I just want to kick off very quickly sharing my experience with all of you. Over the years, I've dabbled in many different businesses. I've started several businesses of my own, and I've also worked in business. So right now, I've been working in the investment banking industry for over 5 years. Prior to that, I have 15 years experience in IT, and before that I was a school teacher. And at no time in any of this did I ever really envision myself as being a salesperson. Even to this day, in my current full-time role, I see myself as an IT manager. I don't think of myself as a salesperson by any means. That's never really been a strength of mine, quite frankly. But over the last several years, I saw several trends that were quite alarming, and I'm sure all of you are aware of this. All you have to do is turn on the news, where there's massive layoffs, there's outsourcing. I've seen this firsthand, especially in IT. And really the question at the end of the day is, does anybody really have job security anymore? And so, one of the things that struck me is I realized very quickly, as an employee for another company or another firm, really my success in life is 100% dependent on them. They are my only customer. So as an employee, my customer, if you will, is the company that I work for. And if they do well, I might do well, but I might not. And at the end of the day, who really has security? So, with this in mind, I had started several different businesses with the teaching background, a natural fit for me. Was working in IT technical training, so I've taught technical certification type classes. I've done IT consulting for small businesses. I had started another business with my wife a while back, and there's several things about this that appealed to me. So it in many ways I felt like my destiny was more in my own control, because if I wanted to make more money, I could work more. I could set my own billing rates, and so I felt like I had some flexibility and I could really drive it as I wanted to. But there also were several things that really, over time, I didn't like about this. And the main thing is essentially, at the end of the day, these businesses owned me. So if I wanted to make more money, I had to work more. If I didn't work, I didn't make any money. So in many ways, even though I had started these businesses, they were successful. But if I stopped at any point, so did the income. And so that was a huge negative for me. And so what happened is, for me, what really was critical is I found that if the freedom that I wanted to associate with having my financial destiny in my own control, it really wasn't there. And in fact, what happened is I was losing more and more time with my family, with my wife and my 2 children, especially as, for example, as a technical trainer. If I wanted to increase my money in that business, I had to stand in front of a classroom of students, or I had to teach an online class, but regardless of the delivery of that instruction, it was still time away from my family. So yes, there were pros and cons. There were pros to this. There also were some cons to this as well. But the main things, as well as I mentioned, just experiencing and seeing the impact of globalization, layoffs, a lack of job security. These were some of the motivators for me to look for other opportunities. So with that in mind, though, then the question comes up, well, why Isagenix? What is Isagenix? And with that, I just want to quickly start off with my personal story with Isagenix. So I'm basically an Isagenix product user. That's how I got started. And what happened is, back in March, my wife and several of her friends in the neighborhood had enrolled in Isagenix. And at first, I was quite skeptical of it, to be honest. I wasn't sure this would work. I thought, how is this different than other diets? And I didn't really get it. But what I did get, and what I couldn't deny, was the results. The product really spoke for itself, and I saw the results that my wife had, that her friends had. Kind of on a side note, one of our teammates posted a video today that I've shared on my Facebook page. Just absolutely tremendous to see the lives that have been positively changed by this, where folks have been able to lose weight. They have more energy. Just the quality of life has improved. And so for me, what happened is, after several months of seeing the success that my wife had with the product, I was training for, at the time, a marathon. And I'd run many marathons before, but I was struggling with some weight loss, believe it or not. I was running 40 to 50 miles a week at the time, and I was trying to shed some unnecessary pounds. As you can imagine, carrying an extra 5 or 10 pounds on your belly over the course of 26 miles has a huge impact on how you perform. And so, having seen the success that my wife and neighbors had, I decided to try the product last fall. And as I expected, I very quickly was able to release the unnecessary weight, but more importantly, I was able to keep my energy up and maintain lean muscle mass as I was doing this, because I did not want to lose weight at the expense of lean muscle. And so as time went on, I ran the marathon back at the end of October. I achieved a personal best time. It was my 12th marathon, and I was just ecstatic at the results I had achieved. And actually, the latest for me, last week or so, I had actually gotten to the point where I had actually released over 20 pounds since I started out on this journey back in July, and then also really amped it up and broke through that wall in August once I started on the Isagenix products. So tonight's call, we're really not focused so much on the products themselves, but I do want to mention that my background, I started out as a product user. That's what really drove this to me. But then as I started using the products, as I started looking at the success I was having, at the success my wife and her friends were having, with a background in business, but also with an open mind in terms of what opportunities are out there. When I started looking into the Isagenix business opportunity, it really jumped out at me. And there's really 5 key drivers to me that compelled me to jump on board and really want to grow this, not only as a product user, but also as a business, and to really share the success that not only I've had, my wife and her friends, but everyone I know who's actually started using these products. And out of these 5 drivers, the first driver, the main driver, is the product itself. It's a great product. It's proven. This is not a fad. We're not talking about an Atkins diet. We're not restricting what we can eat. This is established. It's based on sound research. It's a quality product. It's built with integrity, and quite frankly, it works. And what I loved about the video today is pictures tell, they can tell 1,000 words. And when you see the before and after pictures of the folks on this, they truly speak for themselves. So very quickly, and as I mentioned, I don't see myself as a salesperson, but you can share the results that you're having with this and that your friends are having and your family, so you don't have to sell the product because it speaks for itself. And there's tailored solutions, so this goes beyond just weight loss. There's much more to it. So now I'm actually preparing for something called the IsaBody Challenge, where I'm in fact looking to put on weight. Now that I've shed the bad weight and the body fat, I'm actually looking to put on the lean muscle and enter a competition for that phase. So I'm using a different product package, if you will. But there's tailored solutions, whether it's healthy aging, whether it's weight loss, whether it's energy and performance. There's a whole gamut. And these products, they work, and they really do speak for themselves. You could almost argue for those folks that are on the product that there's actually a moral imperative, I would call it, to share the results you're having. I mean, if you know friends and family that are struggling with weight issues, that are struggling with energy, that would like to have a better quality of life, you could almost argue that by keeping this from them, you're doing them a disservice. And I know sometimes when folks first start using these products, they want to hold back initially, but then folks will come to them and they'll start asking them, "What in the world are you doing? Because you just look so much better. You seem to have so much energy." And like I said, we have numerous success stories that we can share. And I'm positive for those of you that haven't yet started using the product, within a very short time, you will see real results. So the product does speak for itself. The second driver, just beyond the product, is the support that you get with Isagenix. So there's a huge amount of corporate support. You don't have to be an experienced salesperson. You don't have to be an experienced business owner. The tools are there to really enable you to be successful. There's training, there's podcasts, marketing materials, info sheets, and not only this, in essence, when you really decide that you want to focus on the business side of this, you're part of a team that will help coach you. They'll help with your personal development, with your mentoring, and the key component, it's definitely not a competitive environment. The team succeeds as a whole. You have an entire support network. I know that Renee is part of this network, as well as many of my friends now, where we support one another. We help one another. We all have a vested interest in seeing one another succeed. And there's proven best practices that you can duplicate, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you can really focus on sharing your story and helping others begin their journey. The third component, beyond the product, beyond the support, is just the inherent demand for the product. If you look at folks' number one and number two New Year's resolutions, weight loss is always up there. We don't have to create demand for this product. We're not selling a discretionary product. We're not selling Tupperware. We're not selling something that people can do without. This is a meal replacement program. So, for example, in my case, what worked best for me is to replace my breakfast and lunch meals with healthy, nutrition-dense shakes that fuel my body and support me in my training, whether it's training for a marathon, whether it's strength training for the IsaBody Challenge. But that's what I'm doing. I would have to eat anyway. I have to eat. So I'm not, we're not creating demand that's artificial here. And if you look at it, I mean, just some of the statistics, in the U.S. alone, $60 billion is spent per year on weight loss. Folks spend over $114 billion a year on anti-aging solutions, over $40 billion a year on fitness. I mean, these are staggering numbers. So the demand is there, and when you match that with a proven product that works, where your friends and your colleagues will see the results, the demand is there. And right now, just in terms of growth, Isagenix is really experiencing a phase of explosive growth. This company has been around since 2002. And in 2002, Isagenix was a $334 million a year company. This year, in 2014, we're projected to reach over $700 million, and next year projecting over $1 billion. It's a huge growth industry. The demand is there. One of the things, for example, as an IT consultant or an IT trainer, in many ways I had to create demand for my services. I had to try to compete with others for a product and carve a niche, and competing with folks on a global level that were trying to offer IT services, and in some cases these services, quite frankly, were discretionary. At the end of the day, as I said, everybody needs to eat. Everybody wants to feel healthy. Everybody wants to have a better quality of life. They want solid nutrition that will fuel their body. So that is a huge driver for me. So when I was looking at the business opportunity, I said, not only do we have a great product, not only will I have a support network, but I have a product where there's demand. I don't have to create that demand for it. Another component of this that really drew me to the Isagenix business opportunity was I could focus on growing the business. I don't have to be a logistics person. I don't have to convert my garage into a warehouse. I'm not stocking products in my house. I can focus purely on sharing the story, and if folks are willing to jump on board and take that first step, and sometimes it can be intimidating, it can be scary, as any change can, but if they're willing to do that, I can focus on them, coaching them, helping them be successful, from day one helping them hit the ground running, where they know what to expect, where they know, for example, what is a cleanse day like, right? What can I anticipate? What does the product taste like? These type of things, but I don't have to worry about managing shipping, completely replace my garage. Basically, the overhead is minimized with this. I'm not having to worry about corporate taxes. I'm not having to worry about corporate filings like I did in my prior businesses. I'm not having to worry about employment law and these type of things. I don't have to worry about being a salesperson. I can just focus 100% on the opportunity, sharing the opportunity, and helping folks be successful with that. The final and the fifth driver for me to really jump on board with this was the compensation structure. The compensation structure, it's a tremendous opportunity where for those folks that are willing to invest the time in this, they can really grow a business and they can be rewarded for it. And one of the key drivers of this, a key component, if you will, is this aspect of residual income. I'll never forget, this was back in the late summer. As I mentioned, my wife had started on her Isagenix journey around March. We were on a vacation, and it was Sunday, and at some point she turned to me and said, "Gary, I've made X amount of money this weekend." And I was amazed. And what happened is because she had shared her story with friends and they had shared their story and so on and so forth, she had started developing a team of associates and friends and just, people that saw the results she had. And because of this, she had started building out a team and essentially started building residual income through this business. And over time, the opportunity, it really is there to grow that residual income to the point where I know people who have retired from their full-time corporate jobs. And Renee Schreibman, who's on the call tonight and who will speak shortly, she can share her journey and how this has enabled her to essentially do that. And so, the beauty of this is, many folks, as I mentioned, they start off on this they start off as a product user, and then at some point they decide they want to start looking into the business opportunity, perhaps grow that, and you can do this in the pockets of free time during your day. You don't have to dedicate hours and hours and hours to this. The flip side of it, though, is you do have to be very focused. You have to be intentional. It's just like anything in life. Of course, it's not going to just magically happen for you, right? You have to dedicate some time and effort and build your team. But that will come through sharing, quite frankly, your success stories. One quote I saw that somebody had posted a while back, they said that essentially if folks really understood residual income, they would go through a brick wall to get to it. And I really think that's a very powerful metaphor for us here, because it really, there's so many things it can do for you in your life. So not only can you be enjoying the benefits of a quality nutritional program, not only that, but you can also have the benefit of sharing your journey with folks, seeing the positive impact that you have on their lives, and really, really make a difference. And then you can free up that time. So in my case, one of the drivers for me is just really freeing up time so I can have more time with my family and less time working for somebody else. So, the question I want to leave everybody with before I hand over to Renee, we're approaching 2015, we're approaching the new year. And as I mentioned, many people have the New Year's resolution to lose weight. But another common New Year's resolution is to improve your finances, whether that's to get a new job, whether that's to increase your wealth, etc. And the question is, if you continue on the track you're on now, if you don't make any changes, where will you be in 6 months from now? Where will you be in 12 months from now? Where will you be 2 years from now? And if you stopped working today, whether that's a business you've been trying to grow on your own, whether that's for your employer, if you stopped working today and never went back to that business or that job, how much residual income would you have coming in? Would you be able to pay your mortgage with that? Would you be able to provide for your family with that? Would you be able to step away for a month, for 2 months, not have to worry about it, and come back and still have that residual money coming in where it doesn't impact your lifestyle? These are questions that I started asking a long time ago, and I saw this tremendous opportunity before me, and that's one reason my wife and I are really partnering. Anna and I have partnered. We're really looking to grow our team. We actually have started a challenge for our friends and family to really kick off next year and start this journey. And so, what I hope is that in 6 months from now, in 12 months from now, people are going to turn to all of you on this call, and they're going to say, wow, how did you get so lucky? And you'll be able to turn to them and say, no, this wasn't luck at all. I had this tremendous opportunity, and I was prepared to make the most of it, and that's what I did in 2015. So I want to wish all of you the best of luck. And with that, Renee, I'm going to hand over to you. So thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary, for sharing your wisdom with all of us tonight. It was fantastic. I'm probably going to reiterate some of the points that you made in sharing, but the purpose of my part of tonight's call is really to validate what Gary has shared with you. So much of what we talk about within this business, within this opportunity, is about validation. It's very important for you all to hear of someone else's success. One thing that I did when I started, since I didn't have my own success story, my own business story, my own financial story, is I used the stories of my upline and of other leaders until I was able to develop my own story. And when I say your own story, I mean your story might be that you made $500 last month. Your story might be that you added 10 people in your downline last week. That's your story. That's a story that's worth sharing. That's a story that people, whether they have a network marketing background, a multi-level marketing background, or a sales background, or no background at all, their ears are going to perk up if they hear something that is going to appeal to them. So find out what that is. And that's exactly what happened to me a little over 17 months ago. I came into Isagenix purely as a product user. You'll hear that story often from many people. However, I very quickly realized there was an amazing opportunity here. Isagenix is a vehicle. It is a vehicle to get us to where we want to be physically and financially. And that is something that I don't take lightly. It's something that I am very open with now and sharing with other people. In the beginning, because I didn't really understand it, I never really led with the idea of the opportunity or the vehicle to get us to where we wanted to be until I myself truly understood what that meant to me. My husband and I realized sometime last year, probably around October or November timeframe, that he was getting ready to graduate with his MBA. And as many of you know, that comes with a pretty large price as well as a large amount of debt. And I was paralyzed by the idea that I was going to have to pay back $35,000 in debt that I didn't have. We were currently living paycheck to paycheck. We had 2 kids who were in daycare. I was traveling all over the United States in my corporate America job as a sales manager. And I was working anywhere from 45 to 60 hours a week. My husband, in addition to that, was going to school at night and also working a full-time job. So we were busy and we were broke. I mean, not necessarily broke, but close enough to say we were broke. And the reason why I share that with you is so many people tell me they don't have time for this business. But what I'm about to share with you is that time is something that you have to truly evaluate when you determine how badly you really want this. So for me, I saw an opportunity for freedom. I saw an opportunity for me to spend time with my children. I saw an opportunity for me to cut down our debt. I saw an opportunity that I had never been able to see before. And what I loved about it was that it really wasn't necessarily about me. It was about how I could help other people experience this in addition to me. And me experiencing it was just as a result of me helping other people experience it. And I loved that about this amazing opportunity. So what I started to do in November of last year was share very casually. Whether it was in passing with other people, they noticed my transformation. I had a very significant health transformation, weight loss, fat loss, inches, mental clarity, better sleep, everything. I mean, you could just look at me and I was a different person. And so people wanted to know what I was doing. So I started sharing very, very casually. And then come December, I started to become more intentional about my sharing, and I put myself out there. I wasn't talking about the opportunity with other people. I was just talking to them about living a life of better health and being able to experience what I experienced. And then in January, I said, I'm going to own this opportunity. I'm not just going to be intentional, but I'm going to own it. I'm going to make it mine, and I'm going to make it something that I'm going to be able to live with and that it is going to be my livelihood. And in January, I went, end of January, beginning of February, I went Crystal Executive. So let me know, that was right before my 6 months. So I wasn't a speed racer, but I was a dream chaser. I had a dream, and I wanted to make it possible. So I kind of want to wrap this up real quickly and just let you all know that no matter how busy you are, no matter how much time you do or do not have, you can own this opportunity. You can share this vision of opportunity with other people. You cannot make a decision for someone else as to whether or not they want this opportunity. If you do not share it with them, they will not know about it. So not only are you cheating them, but you are cheating yourself out of having an amazing business partner that you might not have had before. So if there's one thing that you take away from this call, it is do not make the decision for someone else as to whether or not this is a vehicle of freedom for them. Freedom doesn't have to be that they leave their job. Freedom could be an extra $500 a month. You never know what that could do to someone else's life. That could free them of a lot of pain that they're experiencing financially. So what I also wanted to share with those of you on the call is once I was able to really capture this vision, I chased it, and I chased it fast and furious because I had a goal, and that goal was to be able to be home with my kids. That goal was to be able to set ourselves free. That goal was for me to be able to not only replace but exceed my income. And as I sit back and reflect on the past 12 months that I have spent since January, truly owning this amazing opportunity, sharing it, and watching others on my team experience the same similar success to what I have in growing and sharing as well, I am just blown away by the financial blessings that we have been given. Not only did I match my corporate salary this year, but I exceeded it. So if you look at my total earnings for this year while working full-time 8 months out of this 12 months a year, I made way more money with Isagenix than I did in my corporate America job. And that has been working part-time hours with Isagenix the entire time. So I want to refresh and remind you all what Gary said, and that is, think about right now, where will you be 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 1 year, 2 years from now? And if you stopped working today and you never went back, how much residual income would you be making? And that's something that I now am so unbelievably blessed to have in my life. Many of you know that I was sick with the flu last week. I did not move from my bed. Yes, I still took some calls here and there in between hacking and coughing, but I still made an extremely generous income last week, even though I didn't go to work one day. And that is the most amazing blessing that we have with this opportunity for residual income, financial freedom, and absolutely amazing health with Isagenix. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and close up the call for tonight. I wanted to wish everybody a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, happy last night of Hanukkah. And please, if you have any questions, get back with the person that invited you to this call tonight. Connect with them. Feel free to connect with Gary or myself if you have any questions about tonight's call. And again, we look forward to the most absolutely amazing 2015 and hope that you will all join us on this amazing journey. Thanks so much and have a wonderful night.